Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy. For today's video, we have the perfect trade target for every single NBA team. This is an article by Andy Bailey, so I'm going to assume that these are probably going to be realistic, just because, like, the perfect trade target for every single team would be, like, Anthony Davis, right, or, like, Giannis. But not every single team could actually get them, right? So these are actually players that these teams could acquire, you know, if they just put their brain cells together and got her done, right, man? So, yeah, before we go on this video, guys, don't mind dropping a like. And, as always, man, check out my new channel, Crispy Flakes Plays, as I will be playing, you know, some games and stuff over there. Fallout Boys and stuff like that. Here we go, man. Atlanta Hawks, we got Eric Gordon. Kind of an underwhelming start. Like, Eric Gordon's fine. That's just my opinion on him. Do I feel like he's, like, the perfect player for the Hawks? I mean, he'd be fine. Clint Capella's cool. They got the center spot taken care of. John Collins, DeAndre Hunter for the 3, Trae Young for the point guard spot. I actually like Kevin Huerter, but he's like an injury-prone type of shooting guard, but so is Eric Gordon. So I guess, I don't know, man. Like, he can create for himself. He can knock down a three-point shot with the catch and shoot. It'd be fine. I don't really have any other bigger opinions about that. Sure, why not, man? Eric Gordon, go to the Hawks. Okay, next up, we got Miles Turner, the Boston Celtics. This one I do agree with a billion, trillion%, guys. I've actually been saying this for a while, that, you know, Turner would be a plug-and-play for the Celtics. He would literally be just like a better version of Tice. You know, better three-point shooter, better defender. Rebounding is not like elite, but a lot of like the guards and, you know, perimeter and forward and wing players on the Celtics are already good rebounders anyway, so it kind of makes up for that. So, yeah, I do like this a lot. Okay, next up we got Drew Holiday for the Brooklyn Nets. I do like the sound of this. I feel like he would play nicely off Kyrie Irving, bring some defense to that 2 spot, and just be that third option, because you don't want to go out there and get like a Bradley Beal or something like that. I mean, obviously you would if you could, but with that, you know, not only is a guy like that can be more expensive, but also you start having chemistry issues where Drew Holiday, you know, would be okay taking that back seat at that third option. I mean, he's been doing it for Zion and the Pelicans and Brandon Ingram, so I could see him definitely doing it for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. It means winning a championship. Next up, we have DeMar DeRozan to the Charlotte Hornets. I actually do kind of like this quite a bit. The Charlotte Hornets need more scoring on their team. And while DeMar DeRozan is not going to win you a championship, 3 years ago, he was like a top 2 or 3 shooting guard in the NBA. Like, look it up, guys. He was absolutely fantastic. Not a lot of free agents are typically going to Charlotte anyways. So, yeah, they could probably get him for a pretty solid deal. I'd probably give him like maybe $16, $17 million a season, put him in that small forward spot. And kind of just see what happens. Like, who knows? Maybe they surprise him and get him to the 8th spot or something in the playoffs. Next up, we got Chris Paul to the Chicago Bulls. I don't really think this makes a lot of sense, man. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, obviously, if they were able to get, like, another big-name free agent to come to the Bulls, then, yeah, you would want to include Chris Paul in that. But you look at, I mean, if it was like a short-term thing, I guess it would be interesting. But, you know, obviously they're doing this because of Billy Donovan and stuff. But, I mean, I just don't really think he's needed on that team. Like, I'd much rather have him go to, like, a team that he could really contend for a championship, because he is, like, 35, 36 now. And the Bulls just are not that yet. Like, yeah, I don't like this one. Next up, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers trading for some draft picks. You can never have too many draft picks, especially a team like Cleveland. You know, they are one of the small market teams that, once again, big-name free agents don't typically go there. Now, obviously, when LeBron was there, that's a different story. But for the most part, it's a team that has to, you know, build via the draft. So those draft picks are extremely valuable. And you got to hope, you know, eventually you hit a home run like you do with LeBron James, and one will end up being your franchise player. Next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks. Victor Oladipo. Absolutely love the idea of this, man. Victor Oladipo would be so perfect on the Mavericks as their third option. Because what I like about him is that, you know, he'd be one of those guys that obviously he's coming off some major injuries, but while he would be the third option out of the team, he can have those games where he plays like the number 1 option. He can, you know, go out there, not to focus on being the number 1 guy, so he can really play his type of game. And yeah, I'm just like, I can just picture right now with him with Luka and Kristaps Porzingis. I would definitely try to get that done if I was the Mavericks. He just fits in instantly. Okay, next up we got Bradley Beal to the Denver Nuggets. Him with Jamal Murray would probably be like the top scoring backcourt in the entire NBA. Yeah, if the price is right, I wouldn't like give up too much of the future, but obviously you're looking at letting go of probably like a Gary Harris, Michael Porter Jr. I guess that maybe it puts them into more of a win now mode, but I'd really like Michael Porter, guys, and Michael Porter's so young that I don't know if I'd be ready to let go of him quite yet, but if it's a win-win situation. It's like you get Bradley Beal, all-star shooting guard, or you keep your young depth. That's fine too. Next up for the Pistons, Nicholas Batum. Oh my God, man! I can never win with these articles. Literally, our perfect trade target is Nicholas Batum. Probably the bummiest overpaid small forward in the entire NBA. Okay, so obviously the idea behind this one, because he only has like 1 year left on his contract, would be to get rid of Blake Griffin. And get out of his large, multi-year contract and free up some money. But once again, we're one of those teams, like the Cleveland Cavaliers and even the Charlotte Hornets, where big names don't sign with us. So, obviously having, money to sign players is nice. But, we're already, last in the NBA in attendance, or, bottom of the NBA for sure. Nicholas Batum's not exactly selling tickets. Okay, whatever. Next up, Golden State Warriors, Aaron Gordon, no. Makes 0 sense. There's nowhere in the rotation he works. You have Andrew Wiggins at the 3 spot. You have Draymond Green at the 4. I guess if you want to go small ball, you could go Draymond at the 5 with Aaron Gordon at the 4. But even with that, because what makes it work for the Houston Rockets is everybody can shoot. Wiggins, not a high efficient guy. Draymond Green, not a 3-point shooter. Aaron Gordon likes to think he can shoot threes, but really he's always in the lower 30s. That would be stupid. Yeah, that makes no sense. Don't do that one. Okay, next, I guess maybe they're talking about trading Wiggins or the pick. He's not worth the number 2 pick in the draft, so yeah, that's not happening. Next up for the Rockets, Dwayne Dedmon. Forgot this guy was even in the NBA. He got that large deal with the Kings. He's on the Hawks now again. Was not part of the rotation as far as I remember. Does he work with the team? Yeah, he's a center that can shoot threes and play a little defense. I think there's better versions of that in the NBA now, especially you consider the price tag. So yeah, I'm not taking on that contract for Dwayne Dedmon, who to me is dead money, man. It's a joke of the day. You can laugh at that one if you'd like to. If you don't want to, you can save that laugh for later. Okay, next up we got the Pacers with Gordon Hayward. Yeah, that'd be... If I'm doing this trade, obviously you're probably looking at flip-flopping Miles Turner, which would work. It would make the Pacers a lot more of a quicker team. You put TJ at the 4 spot, Sabonis at the 5, which could definitely work. It's a fine idea. They do want to get smaller. It's a pretty good route to go, and I think it would be a pretty good win-win situation for both teams. So sure, why not? Next up, we got Rudy Gay to the Clippers. He's got to be about 35, 36 now. Yeah, they want a cheap, guy that can have games where he scores some points. Rudy Gay can still be that guy. That's about it. Next up, we got Derrick Rose to the Lakers. Yeah, I know we're all at the point where we want to see Derrick Rose, go to a contending team. Even as a Piston fan, I do feel I don't want to say I feel bad for him because the Pistons did give him a chance and he did make the most of it. But it's just I do not want to waste. It was fun for a season. I don't want to waste another season of Derrick Rose's career, especially in playing like this. He deserves, to go out there, the grit and grind he's had and compete for a championship. The Lakers definitely allows him to do that. So yeah, I'm cool with it. And as a return, we'll take Anthony Davis. No, man. Kyle Kuzma? We got a fair deal. Kuzma for D-Rose. I don't know if Laker fan. We're not taking Alex Caruso, man. We're not taking Alex Caruso. Okay. Next up, we got Gordon Hayward to the Memphis Grizzlies. Once again, yeah. The thing about Gordon Hayward is that he works on so many teams. He could be exactly what he was meant to be for that Celtics team, and that was just a veteran leader that can score the basketball. Obviously, Jason Tatum is a little bit ahead of his time now and ready to step into that role. But Gordon Hayward, I'm saying John Morant could probably do that too. But no, it works. You run a lineup of Gordon, John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Gordon Hayward, Jaren Jackson, and Jonas Valanciunas, Brandon Clark type of combination there. That would be pretty nice. They do have Justice Winslow coming back next season, so that should be interesting, but I'm okay with him coming off the bench. So yeah, I do like the sound of this. And obviously you got to give up pieces too, so we're just kind of, saying who's already on the team, but some of those guys would have to get traded away. Next up, we got Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat. I kind of like that for a season, man. I don't know if it's totally needed. I've been saying the Clippers would be the perfect fit for Kyle Lowry. I've been saying that since the beginning of last season. Just because, him with, Kawhi Leonard, you obviously have that chemistry and stuff. But on the Miami Heat, Goran Dragic's going to be back. Kendrick Nunn, was still a top rookie. So, undrafted player and stuff. So, I don't really think Kyle Lowry is needed on that team yet. But, I wouldn't be, mad about it. I guess Kendrick Nunn could probably play a little backup shooting guard, too, if needed, I guess. But, no, I don't really think it makes much sense. Okay, next up, we got CP3 to the Bucks. Yeah. Giannis has 1 year left on his contract. You need to win now, Milwaukee, a championship. No, if he does not win a championship, I think he's leaving, guys. And Chris Paul, has 1 or 2 really good years left, I would say. Instantly makes sense. Next up, we got Aaron Gordon to the Timberwolves. I do like the idea of this. A good athletic player alongside Karl-Anthony Towns makes complete sense. Running out there with D'Angelo Russell. And then they could use that. Well, they have the first pick in the draft, which probably is going to be Anthony Edwards. So you're looking at a pretty solid, rotation at that point. I do like this. Okay, next we have Karis LeVert to the Pelicans. Um, I guess it makes sense. He's kind of a shot creator, so when you have a team like when you have Lonzo Ball, you want the ball in his hands, or Ingram creating for himself. I don't know how Karis LeVert really fits in with that. Obviously they are going to need a new shooting guard eventually though, because JJ Redick and Drew Holiday are both getting older. So Karis LeVert is that, but I'd much rather them go for maybe use their draft pick and try to get like a Devin Vessel or one of those more like 3-and-D off-ball type of players. I feel like that kind of makes more sense. That are not injured either, of course. Next up, we got Chris Paul to the Knicks. Stupid. I've heard this one before. Why, New York? You don't need Chris Paul. There's no need to get Chris Paul. I guess maybe, okay, best case scenario, Chris Paul's on the team for like a season or two, and him with like RJ Barrett and Mitchell Robinson, like having him as a leader is enough to get them like the 8th spot. But I think the Knicks want more than that, man. And he just kind of, it just keeps away from finding that future starting point guard and giving that guy minutes. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense, for like the long term. Next up, we got draft picks to the OKC Thunder. I suppose they already have a billion of those already. I'd much rather than maybe, I think, since they have all those draft picks already and they already have a pretty good solid foundation, I would much rather than maybe trade for like some players that maybe people are saying are like, okay, this guy's kind of looking at like a bust. You could probably trade for him pretty cheap and just give them like a chance and see what can happen. I feel like that would be kind of a good opportunity right now. Maybe even like what's the one dude, man? Like Josh Jackson. Small forward positions, not exactly like taken over by the OKC Thunder right now. Like, get him for really cheap and see what he does for your team, man. Like, who knows? Maybe we'll be surprised. Next up, we got Spencer Dinwiddie for the Orlando Magic. I kind of like Markelle Fultz. I still believe in him a lot. Dinwiddie just kind of hurts the development of him. Don't think it's a good fit. I mean, it would be a fine fit. Like, it would work, but I think there's probably better teams out there that could utilize Dinwiddie. Would love to see him go maybe to like a Phoenix Suns or a team along those lines. Or I've even been talking about him being a backup for the Celtics, kind of take care of that spot. Next up, we got Buddy Hield to the 76ers. Yup, I've done a video about this on my main channel, Crispy Flakes. Makes complete sense. Knockdown three-point shooter, can play beautifully, catch and shoot off of Ben Simmons. Keep pressure off Joel Embiid, so I like that. Okay, next we got Trey Lyles to the Phoenix Suns. Okay, next up we have Ben Simmons to the Portland Trailblazers. So you were assuming it would probably be a trade along the lines of like CJ McCollum, which would be kind of interesting because I think Gary Trent is ready to like start at that 2 spot. He could bring a lot of 3-point shooting. You put Simmons at the 3. Damian Lillard can obviously play off him with his 3-point abilities and stuff, and really his offensive abilities all together. The big issue with the Portland Trailblazers is that CJ and Damian play too similar. So you do get an all-star player that is still a great player, but plays completely different from Damian Lillard. So I would be all for this, man. That'd be kind of an interesting team to watch. Next, we got Victor Oladipo to the Kings. I don't think it makes a lot of sense just because, like, they have already kind of committed to Bogdanovich, and they've already, like, destroyed the relationship with Buddy Hield. I don't like the idea. Next up, we got Aaron Gordon to the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, that team kind of runs, like, more of an old-school style of basketball. It would be nice to see them evolve away from, like, DeMar DeRozan and, like, LaMarcus Aldridge and get some youth out there. He would run nicely, with the back of, like, DeJounte Murray and Derek White. So I like the idea. Give them some youth, some athleticism. Sure, why not? Toronto Raptors, RJ Barrett. The Knicks are not going to give up RJ Barrett. For the Utah Jazz, Kevin Love. Yeah, I'd be cool with that for a few seasons. Looking at a team, if Mike Conley will probably be traded away for make the salary work. So we'll say, point guard A, Donovan Mitchell, probably go Bojan Bogdanovic at the 3 spot, Kevin Love at the 4, Rudy Gobert at the 5. That's an interesting team. I like that. And then last but not least, we got Washington Wizards salary matching Knicks. I have no idea what this means. Okay, so I guess they would get rid of John Wall and trade him to the Knicks for salary matching stuff. Okay. I guess if you want to go and full on rebuild and get out of John Wall's contract, sure, why not, guys? But this is the end of the video, man. What do you all think? Do you like these? Were they stupid? Let me know in the comment section below, and peace out, my friends.